have a wisdom, then in order to, we can benefit from our life, our daily life, in terms of our problems and so on and so forth. So as a Buddhist, you have a wisdom, and for those non-Buddhists, no wisdom, a lot different. Okay, something like that. So this is called J28 tree study, and these are very, very fundamental. As I just told you before, as a, regardless for Sangha and lay people, right? Besides you talk about the Pure Lands or Zen school, okay? So this is called tree school. Tree study, all right? Precepts, concentration, and wisdom, 戒定慧. So these are if you draw in triangle, always I say draw in triangle to show among the three their relationship. Precepts, concentration at the two sides, then the big one, the top one, we call it wisdom. So precepts, concentration, these are the two pillars support, in order for us to achieve to generate wisdom. Clear? Okay, time's up. Please stand up. Please hold the palm and follow me. Okay, one bow to the Buddha. First position. Okay, second position. Okay, third position. One bow to the Buddha again. Okay, please take a seat. Okay, please take a seat. Okay, as usual, before we start the class, please follow me. Do the simple reciting the Buddha name. 南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨。南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨。南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世 南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨。南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨。南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨。南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨。南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨。南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨。南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨。南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨。南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨。南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨。南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨。南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨。Okay, please follow me. 南无本师释迦牟尼佛。 南无本师释迦牟尼佛。南无本师释迦牟尼佛。OK。Okay, good morning, brothers and sisters. Let me make the first announcement regarding for our next lesson will be on next year, 2024, very fast. Next year, January, 7th of January. Okay, so I wish you in advance have a happy New Year in 2024 and everything peace and safe. All right, now because of COVID-19 come back again. So you better wear. I told you already, they will never disappear because we human beings, especially government, never learn from the lesson. So the virus won't disappear one. It's just like variant becomes serious or not serious. So the mask is necessary. As I saw this morning, I read the newspaper. It say now even in the public transport, a lot of people start to put on the mask. Right? Should prevention better than cure. As I told you earlier, you cannot imagine that assume that the Dharma protector will protect you. Okay, as I told you before. Now, so this is the first announcement. Our next lesson will be on 7th of January in 2024. Now, so please can refer to your textbook, page 190. Page 190. We are now in the chapter 11. Okay, so just have a quick one to recap what I've taught you for the previous lesson. Now, so basically, the gist important for this chapter now is talking about, especially doing a lot of charity, the good things. Of course, you have a good fortune, we call it bliss, and so on and so forth. Now, so all these things, we have to be unconditioned. We cannot attach to it. In other words, we have to detach from what we are doing, the good things. Of course, talking about marriage, just like I come here for the study, of course, also got married. But we cannot cling down to it. Just because of marriage, you come here, cannot. This is considered imperfect. So basically, this chapter is to tell us, in comparison, even you give a lot of jewels, 7 jewels, or just like they use the Ganges River, the sand, to assume that there are so many in terms of the quantity, not quality. But of course, you cannot compare with the Dharma you are giving in Dharma, because Dharma for the spiritual development, okay, spiritually, 精神的. So that money cannot buy. It's just like I told you so many times, experience, money cannot buy experience. Money cannot buy experience. Experience we have to go through by yourself. Okay, we call it experience. Okay. Now, so basically this is a kind of the gist for this chapter. So now can you see the verse, the page 190. Now last time I read the verse already, so today I try to explain it further. Now concerning, our Trayami to subdue the Pratya Dayami Te. That means I shall tell you, Subhuti, in bracket, so you shall know. Constant said, ever constant, this is a very popular Buddhist scholar in page 443. If you don't know who is he. So page 443. Quote, he said, this was a formula often used for formal, pronouncement by the Buddha. So the Buddha thinks Subhuti does not really understand how great an offering of Bodhisattva offering surpasses. Just like offering the Dharma, give a Dharma talk, or giving the Dharma. Of course, this merit is immeasurable. Compare you are giving wealth, things, money, and so on and so forth. Of course, giving things, wealth, money, of course, this is also important. But in comparison, most important is the Dharma, because Dharma for a spiritual development. Of course, if you no money to buy food to eat or whatever, you just imagine you can come here for the talk or not. I don't think so, because you're so hungry. You must make sure you got money to buy food. You must make sure you have to go to work in order to have a money income, so that you can sustain your life, to buy things, consume the food, and so on and so forth. Now, so hence he inserts this phrase for emphasis. Next paragraph. Now the Buddha also reminds Subhuti that understanding begins with something as small as a grain of sand. Of course, this is talking in terms of the quantity. right? So little, okay? Like William Blake, say, of course, this is another scholar, he said the Buddha asks us to see the world in every grain. But here, the Buddha asks us not only to see a world, but to see all the sense in that world as well. And then to imagine that each grain of sand in that world is itself a world. It's just like, they use it as an analogy, right? To say every sand in the Ganges River just represent one sand, represent one world. We are living in this world. But there are if you use from the scientific point of view, there are so many planets or whatever in the universe. So in Buddhism, talk about 10 directions of all the world, right? 10 directions. That means east, west, south, north, and so on and so forth. 10, they are up, down. So all together 10. That means all rounded. So not only just this earth, we are living in this earth as a human being, but there might be some other beings in other planet, other world. Just we talk about pure land, and so on and so forth. So it's possible. No? It is possible. Now this earth, now the formation, it form a earth, this world. But if we don't treasure it, of course the things subject to changes in the natural cycle. So one day will disappear, destroy everything. Then they form again. They say up, down, So this is called impermanent, arising and ceasing, up and down. Now, so, you see, in this manner, the Buddha stretches our conception of size and number beyond the limits of comprehension. Just like Dharma, spiritually, is beyond our concept. So beyond concept, it's very difficult for you to figure out. It's just like talk about emptiness. We cannot see emptiness of all things in the world, right? So emptiness, refer to the nature of emptiness. The nature of things are empty. And the nature, I told you so many times, we cannot see the nature of all things in the phenomena through our naked eye. I told you so many times, right? Nature. So it's a philosophical term, and we cannot see through our naked eye. So if we cannot see through our naked eye, how are we going to convince people and convince yourself? Correct or not? So in Buddhism, it's very difficult to explain the concept of emptiness. Because emptiness is beyond our concept. So how to go to appreciate it? We need to do it, realize it, experience it. So it's beyond word. Inexpressible. Right? In Buddhism, talk about inexpressible, inconceivable, 不可思议. So in this manner, the Buddha stretches our conception of size and number beyond the limits of comprehension. In chapter 8, that's actually over, right? Chapter 8, the Buddha compared the merit from an offering of the billion jewels cover the worlds of the universe. Then, here, he expanded offering beyond the power of calculation. Countless. Beyond that. So this is talking in terms of giving a Dharma, Buddha teaching, for our spiritual development. You can see a lot of rich people, millionaire and so on and so forth. Right? Very wealthy. But doesn't mean that they are very happy. Because a lot of suffering, a lot of affliction, suffering also in terms of health, in terms of mental. So you're so rich for what? Right? So two must be in parallel together. Wealth, materialistic life, as well as spiritual life. Spiritual life, right? Spiritual life have to in parallel together. And this combined path in Buddhism. Now, so such is the Buddha's way of leading us to break through the finite to the realm of infinite, 有限到无限. Right? So from the condition to unconditioned, or from world to world transcending level. From ordinary people to sages, 圣人仿佛到是 ordinary people to sage. So which is the purpose of this sutra? Right? Is it the purpose of this Diamond Sutra? So in other words, we try to know the concept of sunyata, emptiness, means detachment. But how to achieve it? How to achieve it? We have to start from the bottom, from existence to emptiness. In other words, we have to recognize things function in the world. We try our best to learn, we try our best to do it, in order to experience it, to realize it, then from there go beyond that. 超越, surpass that. And this is a right understanding of this sutra. In fact, of the Dharma also. Okay, so it's a very systematic, one at a time, one by one. For ordinary people, it's just like you study outside, in the secondary school. We start from preschool, we call it kindergarten, preschool, primary school, secondary school, JC, then go to university, then after you go to postgraduate study. So all these are in sequence, one step at a time, very systematic. Okay? I mean, we're talking about in general, but some very smart one, they can bypass from primary school to postgraduate. This is actually very rare, uncommon. 神童, very, very smart one. Okay? Okay, next paragraph. Now, although the term Saptarana is in bracket 7 jewels, Chinese called 七宝, 7 jewels. Okay, I showed to show the PowerPoint to you also in the previous lesson. 七宝, 7 jewels. If you say jewels, just like in the world, you could talk about diamond, pearl, and so on and so forth. All these are very, very expensive, very precious, right? But if you compare with the Dharma even more superior, beyond that. Okay. Now here, actually, they're going to show us also. In the Pali, occurs in the Pali canon, it is not defined beyond, gold, silver, and other jewels. In Sanskrit scriptures, such as the Mahavastu, can you see the PowerPoint? Mahavastu. This Mahavastu is in Sanskrit, you call it great story, important legendary life of the Buddha. Right, talking about the legend of the Buddha, produced as a late conical work by Mahasanghika school. This Mahasanghika is one of the important schools in Indian Buddhism, in Indian sectarian Buddhism, into 部派佛教. So according to Buddhism, there are 18 schools. Sometimes people say 20, even say 500, more than that. Okay, very complicated. In Indian Buddhism, 在印度. Of course, how come so complicated? Of course, in Chinese Buddhism, China, only 8 schools, 8宗. In a school like Pure Land, Zen, one of them. But it's nothing, special in Buddhism. Even talk about other religion. In Christianity, they do have like city harvest or whatever. Some conservative, some very open one. And then in conservative one, they don't recognize those very open one, modern one. Just like city harvest. They run the expo, whatever, during weekend. And they can attract a lot of young people. A lot of people want to go there. Why? Dress so smart. And you see a lot of beautiful girl, a lot of handsome guy. And they can make friends around. And to sing a song, not like you are using this song, kok, 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 kok. This is Lao Gudong, LKK, Lao Kok Kok. Of course, we cannot comment that because this is a different religion, different kind of how you express the kind of praise to the Buddha, just like they praise to the God. I told you before in England, I studied in England, I went to the church. They use a brass band, piano, guitar, all these are modern musical instruments. But in Buddhism, of course, they are using this one. So, you cannot compare which is good or bad, because this is a different religion. Okay? So, even for other religions, they also do have so many schools in their religion, just like happened in Buddhism. So, this is called Mahasanghika. That's why this is not Dharma class. If you're interested, you can refer to the text, English textbook, history in Indian Buddhism. If you're interested, you can go to the library. Here, do we have the library? Then you can go and borrow and read about yourself, right? Now, and presented as a historical introduction to Vinaya. Vinaya means precepts, 律, 戒律, precepts, rules and regulation. Or sometimes they call Sila. Okay? Sila. Sila or Vinaya, this is in Sanskrit. 施罗, Chinese施罗 means precepts. Okay, you see Buddhism, there are so many terms, some written in Pali, Sanskrit, or even Tibetan. This is in Sanskrit. Okay, so the section of the canon dealing with the monastic discipline. Okay, monastic discipline. People like us, As a bhikkhu, you need to receive 250 precepts, 250条. Okay? As a female bhikkhuni, you need to receive 500 precepts altogether. Sometimes it's 348. Okay? But in general, of course, you recognize 500 precepts. So double than the bhikkhu precepts, people like us. For female, 500 precepts, double. You say, why not fair? Equality. But, you know, they say female, a lot of things are more problems. So they came out a lot of rules and regulation, that kind of thing. It's unreal. You can allow to disrobe for female only one time only. 还属于是 disrobe. For male, you can disrobe 7 times. So you ask me, I also say not fair. Why not? All human beings just because of different gender, so have a different treatment. But until now, nobody want to review the whole things and have a discussion. Because all this one is not done by Buddha. Not done by Buddha. You know, when they transmitted to China, and those Chinese monks, then they decided, or they have a meeting. But this sort of thing can review. Right? How come you 1 time and 7 times? So for guy, for bhikkhu, they take things for granted already. 7 times is okay. Just I was studying last time I was in Taiwan, I asked one of the bhikkhu, the bhikkhu, Venerable. I said, don't know, we talk about something like this topic. This is my third time as a monk. I disrobed 2 times already. I said, why you disrobe? He said, no lah, we can allow 7 times. He said, come pray. Then after I met one girl, then got girlfriend already, then disrobe. Then pato, then break out again, then come back again to monastic life. Then after feel boring already, then disrobe again, then go back to lay people. So I think this is a wrong concept. Okay? 他跟我讲的还俗3次了 3 times. Okay? So it's not fair. Now, so this is called Vasubantu. Can you go back to the textbook? I say to include all these in the crystal, pearls, and so on and so forth. Okay? Please refer to page 191. Now, so all these also appear in the list. Some scholars think, these 7 were an elaboration of the 7 treasures of the state. The king and his minister, the territory and the capital, the treasury, the army, and the allies. So, more likely, they were simply the manifestation of the sacred number of that 7 represent. So they also call to mind the Indian system of the analysis of which all material things are divided into a series of greater or smaller entity. I think this is based on Indian kind of culture. So each of which is composed of the 7 equal parts. Okay? Then you don't ask me why. They are Indian, the kind of culture, the various, so they have a so-called like 7 jewels, and to them they think it's so precious. Okay, next paragraph. So in any case, by asking us to imagine an offering of the most precious of substance in amounts beyond the power, calculation, or comprehension, so the Buddha set the stage of an offering of something that seemed to be the most insignificant of things, and yet is the most inconceivable of things. So of course, on the surface, you think like, wow, this is very common, nothing, whatever. It's just like Dharma, right? But actually, it's so precious beyond that. Now, to me, the bottom line is, of course, you need the kind of a materialistic life. Make sure we have 3 meals one day for 3 meals for us to eat, in order to sustain our life. Then from there, we should go beyond that. Because money cannot solve all the problem. Money cannot solve all the problem, but without money also cannot, because you need to solve some problems. 钱不是万能，没有钱万万不能。That's why, as a Singaporean, we say, no money, no dog. You work, one of the reasons is because of money. You work because of the money. Why? Because you need to have some income. In order for you to buy food, you eat, can survive, sustain our life. But end of this month, you will get $500 already, depending on individual. From government, right? How much you get? 300, minimum 300 to 500. You say, can't do anything, 500, 一下子就没有了。But they give you rather than they don't give you any single cent, Okay, no? Some government, they got surplus, but they don't want to give you, just like Taiwan, Taiwan the political system 很乱的 ，presidential election coming already. Singapore not too bad. They give you, of course, they can give each one give you 10,000. Wow, you just imagine Singapore to 5.6 million people, no? Each one 5,000, 10,000, then 政府 collapse, grow short. You cannot think about yourself, no? If you just give it to 1,000 people, it's okay. But you give it to the whole population, almost whole population, wow, that's a lot amount of money. Right now. Anyway, okay, back to here. Now, so, you see the Buddha knows that people undertake spiritual cultivation with a goal in mind. People like you, because you are looking for the spiritual development, to solve our mental problems. In fact, you are reading the newspaper, recently the newspaper came out, the news, a lot of Singaporean youngsters also, sometimes they go for suicide. They feel very stressed and don't know how to relieve and don't know who to talk to. And now the Singapore government coming already. Some people don't want to go to IMH, Institute of Mental Health. They go to Ban Chao Yi last time. So of all the mental problems, then some people dare not to go and consult the counselor because you scare people know your problem. 没面子嘛 very disgraceful. Then if you have something like religion for you to believe or whatever, then at least got something to depend on, Okay, back to here. Now, so namely the goal of acquiring and accumulating religious merit so that they might gain a better rebirth. Because in Buddhism we believe in rebirth, 投胎. So after this life, we die already, pass away. That's not the end of the world, because we believe in rebirth. We are reborn again, 再投胎 for our future life. But of course, according to Buddhism, we are still within the 6 cycles, samsara, in the samsara, right? So if you are lucky enough, have a good karma, you can go to the heaven. 天啊, to become deva. Later I show the deva. That means divine being 天神, just like Jesus is one of the heaven there. Okay, of course, this is considered imperfect, but better than nothing, right? Now, if you do a lot bad things or whatever, very extreme, and then go to the hell. You always hear the people say, you go to the hell, scold people, right? 你去死, you go to the hell. Right now, and those 半天条, how can you 半天条? Here in the middle one, you don't know where to go. They said they got 7 days, 7 times 7 within 49 days. Or endless time, then that we have to decide where to go. Sooner or later have to decide one. Whether go to the hell, go to the heaven, to reborn as an animal or whatever, this all within the 6 cycle. So when we die, it doesn't mean that that's the end of the world, no. We are reborn again. But say, I don't know my past life. Of course we do know. If you know, I tell you, it's very horrible, no. You know, actually it's not a good sign, no. What happened? You know that, I was a president of Brazil, why now I born in Singapore? What is it? Then you must be so angry, my past life is president, so now I become slave, servant, or become housemaid. 那你不是死掉 Right. Then of course, there was another possibility. Oh, last time I was a slave, but now I stay in Bukit Timah, bungalow, this and that. Oh, even now I become the president, Taman number 2. After online, on what? Then for you, use the slogan, banana, banana, banana. Kim Chiu, Kim Chiu, Kim Chiu. Correct or not? So these are the 2 extremes. Of course, according to Taoism, they say, 喝那个什么梦魂汤 the soup, then they forgotten away. So according to Buddhism, because life, we are intermittent. You get it? And that intermittent because there's a gap. So that's why we break it down, forgot everything. So it's a good sign. But I say, how am I going to know? If you are so busy body, I want to know my past life, I want to know my future life. That's one possibility you may know. Meditation. Through meditation, you achieve a concentrated mind, then you probably can see. People like you and me, because we always see the external object, we are highly influenced by the external world, correct now? We never refer to our inner world. That is the purpose of concentration. So how are you going to know your past life? Whatever. Impossible. But my advice to you, better to know. Treasure the present life and work for the better future life. 明天会更好. So they are more optimistic. Past already passed. 过去已成过去，才是往事不堪回味。Already over, what can you can't do anything. Just like due to impulsive 冲动 you scold people, 你骂人家 then you say, sorry, just like I scold you. And you see in Singapore, you always say that, sorry no cure. 对不对？大家讲 sorry no cure. It's how to cure, because you get scolded already. 叫做 slap on my face. 你再跟我讲对不起 apologize. No use, because I slapped by you already. 被你打了嘛。Right? That's why I say sorry no cure. But as a Buddhist, if you practice no self, yes, I accept your apology. Your apology, yeah, I accept it. But can't you see, it's not so many people, no? Probably 1 out of 1,000 or 1 out of 10,000. Right now. Okay, back to here. Now, so rebirth and access to the symptom of the chosen fate. Depend. If you believe in God, you go to the heaven. You believe in Buddhism, you go to the Pure Land. Right? Pure Land and heaven are different, no? 天堂跟净土 different, The heaven is for the God to stay there. The Pure Land is for the Bodhisattva and Buddha to stay there. I told you before already. Just like the Istana for president to stay there, no? But of course, Dharma don't stay there. Not for you to stay, no? You and me, where we live? HDB flat. Not bad already. What else can we expect? Correct, no? Something like that. So, he said, but the body of the married, they thereby acquire is limited in time and space. Limited in time and space. 时间, 空间. Okay? Limited in time and space. And cannot compare to the body merit of a Bodhisattva who understand and share this teaching with others. Okay? Now this Hadaya, page 447, it just indicates, you refer this kind. Now he said the perception of punya. This punya in Sanskrit, you see the bracket, merits, 功德, merits. Just like you come here doesn't mean that you go for chanting, then you got merit, Even if you come for Dharma talk or Dharma class, also consider it's a merit. Because why? You come here to learn the good things. And this is a good deeds. This is a good behavior. You come here to learn good things. So this is considered as a merit. Doesn't mean that you must go for chanting. Because you come here to attend the Dharma talk, you try to gain the Dharma knowledge. If you chant the sutra, also the purpose to gaining the Dharma knowledge, to gain Dharma knowledge. Right? It's not because you chant the sutra, you are aiming for Buddha to bless you. Of course, he will bless you. But this immaterial, not so important. Wisdom are more important. Because wisdom can solve the problems. Wisdom can counteract the karma, especially our bad karma. But spiritual power cannot override our karma. I told you so many times, 神通抵不了业. It's just like now the COVID-19, the variant. If spiritual power can solve, make sure that all the variant, the virus disappear, then God can do it. God got spiritual power. But 4 years over already, the virus still around. The Buddha also can't do anything. Because spiritual power cannot override the karma. And why the virus appear? I told you so many times. Because you are in the shared karma, 共业嘛. Only minority, they are well behaved, observe hygiene. But most of them, they are anyhow one. They don't observe hygiene. Or those are sabotage, sabuking. There are many, more than the minority one. That's why the virus is still around. And now the government, now they open the expo already. For those not serious, they go hospital. So you want to go back to last time to have a curb. Make sure you got the COVID, you isolate, you cannot go out. Of course, you cannot tahan. You don't want to go back to the old road already. Correct? Everybody want a freedom. That's why the government now not forcing, no. They strongly recommend, 强烈的呼吁 strongly recommend, you better put on mask. If possible, you go for jab. Especially in the public places. While you're traveling MRT, take taxi or bus, you better wear mask. It's true. In the classroom, if possible, of course, youngster got 本钱 嘛. Because youngster got immune system, so they don't care. Most of youngsters, they don't wear one. The Western people also don't wear. Who want to wear? You find it very inconvenient or whatever. But now you wear the mask, to me, it's become habit already. If I don't wear, it's something missing there. Right? It's a sort of habit. It's like you used to come here alternate week for the talk. Once you don't come, you feel like very uneasy. I don't know whether you have such a feeling. You feel very uneasy, congratulations. You want to become arhat already. You find that you are very happy. Wow, today no class are super long, and then I can travel abroad. Then I can travel to most country people want to go heading for Singaporean. Taiwan. Yeah, a lot of people want to go Taiwan, and now China. Visa free. Started already or next year. 30 days on visa free, you go China. Last time only 14 days, right? So now 30 days. And of course, some people want to go to European country. But most of them, why you want to go China, Taiwan? Communication, no problem. 你可以讲华语啊. Right? And you know Taiwan, because of food, I tell you, I was in Taiwan for a few years. The vegetarian food, very good, If you want to go, you tell me. You ask me, I tell you where to go. The vegetarian food, cheap and good. Last time 70, 80 Taipei, 80 块. Singapore about $4 only, I tell you, the soup, 苦瓜汤, sabo one, you can't buy in Singapore one. The taste very good. And the fried rice, everything, 80块, 100块最多. But now I think 涨价了 because due to high inflation. But having said that, about 120 Taipei, So Taiwan, bao dao, but such a waste. The food, but I don't care their politics because I'm not Taiwanese. What I care is a vegetarian food. Make sure go there can eat. In Taipei, there's a restaurant. Can I tell you the name? I tell you, 10年如一日 one. You just imagine Taiwan, you can eat the 苦瓜, right? Bitter and then white color one. Of course, you can buy in Sheng Siong, but not fresh. 苦瓜,你不吃不? 可贵啊. White color one, not green color one. Not so bitter one, white color. 哇，你炒那个 sesame oil, I tell you. But now what time? 10:30. And it's fried with the chili. 哇，跟你讲，听我这配饭rice, a very nice one, I tell you. But that restaurant very strange, Taiwanese open one, Taiwan, 竟然没有苦瓜嘞！哇，哎呦 I really want to collapse. 哇 fainted. Taiwan restaurant open the restaurant, no 苦瓜的 Can you just imagine? 那个怪怪的。Then you go there after few years, the menu, the 菜单一模一样 never change. I don't want permanent. The one is very strange, right? Exceptional case. It's permanent, emotional, 不叮当那款的。And the lady wear, the waiters wear the costume, the uniform, 一模一样的。And the chair color never change. The building, everything never change. Food also never change. But that one is 直插 one. The one you take MRT, walk about less than 10 minutes, you can find already. So Taiwan 很多东西好吃的。I mean talking about vegetarian. Then go one. Cannot talk about it. If I continue talk, then become very hungry, because Okay, can you see that? That's why I said every act which is inspired by charity or by charity and morality. Of course, you know morality, 道德戒, you see in bracket, they put sila. I told you another word, visa vinaya sila. Produces some punya, which leads to welfare in this life and also secures happy rebirth. But a unit of punya confers to a certain kind of happiness on earth or in the heaven for a certain period of time, for which it is exhausted, because that's come to the end. Just like if you go to the heaven, have a good karma, you want to go to the heaven, but after the bliss, fortune, good fortune, everything over already, then you have to descend, come back to this earth again. Depend, you know. They also solely depend on your karma. You might reborn as an animal, you know, hungry ghost or whatever, or human being. That solely depend on the karma. So, you know, but a unit of punya, certain kinds of happiness and earth in the heaven for only a certain period of time, after which it is exhausted. Still, all that is noble, beautiful, auspicious, glorious, and desirable in the world is a result of punya. So punya is thus a wonderful power, and it is exalted and glorified in Mahayanese literatures to such an extent that was finally regarded as almost as equivalent to the prajna and bodhi. Bodhi means enlightenment, puti, enlightenment. Prajna means wisdom, right? In English, 智慧. So you can say prajna or wisdom is a core teaching, right, in Buddhism, and it's very unique in Buddhism, 很特别. That's different from other religions. Because other religions don't talk about wisdom, right? Other religions talk about, oh, you believe in God, you know, you respect the God, you go to the heaven. Even for the Bible, whether you're Old New Testament in Christianity, I told you I got one Bible, that one is Old Testament, and mine is New Testament. In terms of the quantity, is not very thick, very straightforward. Okay? Not like Buddhism. We talk about Tripitaka canon, Chinese canon, 100 volumes, right? Tibetan canon, 72 volumes, 德格版. And the Pali one, I asked, that's why I told you 50 something, right? But recently I asked a student monk in my college, and those Theravada monks told me about 59, nearly 60 volumes in Pali canon. So many. It's just that human beings are so many yearners, different kind of yearners. Therefore, we have a different canon or different kind of medicine, Dharma medicine, to cure our illness. Right? Something like that. Now, so, you know, it says a prajna in the body as an increasing appreciation of active altruism in social life give rise to the new conception that punya, but itself could lead to enlightenment. Okay? Okay, can I turn to next page? Okay, so let's go to another verse, page 192. The Buddha said, Subhuti, if then a man or a woman fill as many worlds as that with the 7 jewels and give them as a gift to the Tathagata, the Arahant, the fully enlightened ones, and the noble son and daughter, grasps but 1/4 line gata of this Dharma of teaching, and make it known to and explain it to others, the body of merit produced as a result will be immeasurably, infinitely greater. That's why you want to compare Dharma, giving of Dharma. I told you before that, 法的布施, giving of Dharma, you compare with giving of for things, food, money, and so on, so, but it's immeasurable. This one even more superior. Why more superior? Because of the spiritual development. 精神的质量, that even higher. Now, what is gata in Sanskrit? Can you take a look on the PowerPoint here? Gata. This is in Sanskrit. One, we call it verse. Just I read the verse, just now, Ji Song. Alright, verse, just I read to you, the Buddha says, Subhuti. This one all called gata, right? Ji Song. Number 2, a religious verse. Of course, this one refer to religious verse, but not belonging to any one of the Vedas. Now, this Veda, Chinese called Fei Tuo. In ancient India, this is the kind of Indian literature, very old one. Because 4 Veda, 4 Fei Tuo. There are 4 Veda, Fei Tuo, in Chinese. If you're interested, you can go library and borrow the books, Indian philosophy. You find the books, the name of the textbook, I don't know whether they have it here, because Indian philosophy. Okay, because I studied at the university, I read this one also. One of the scholars, I've forgotten the name. Okay, so you read it inside, they will explain to you what are the 4 Vedas. They know this is what they are talking, Vedas, right? This is considered ancient literature in India. 印度古代文学 in Chinese. There are these four main categories, right? Cater for climate, cater for the religious thing, ritual, and so on and so forth. Okay, so under these four main categories, 四大种类. Or third, in English called stanza. Verse or stanza refer to Chinese called 寄颂. Okay, stanza or verse. Okay, this is called gatha. Okay, back to the textbook. Now, as noted in chapter 8, a gatha refers to the shortest metrical unit, very short one. Some consists of 5 Chinese characters. One sentence consists of 5 Chinese characters. We call 五言绝句. You know. So, shortest metrical unit of ancient India, 古代印度, I told you already, ancient India. And recently, if you read the newspaper, recently India, they're going to have a poll election for next year. And now, they use religious things to politics. Because in India, there are so many religions, because see the population. Last time before India emerged in the world in terms of population, now India the highest, the most population in the world, more than 14 million people, 1.4 billion people, more than that. China last time is the most population in the world. 中国人口最多啊。How many? 1.4 billion of 14 million population, 14亿人口 China. But now India catch up 了，追上来的。Why? Because China people don't want to give birth. One child policy. But they say not across the whole country, you know. Depend on the places, you know. Some 2 child policy, some 3, you know. And you just imagine now due to high inflation, so stressed, you know, you want to find a job also quite difficult. Like just like in Taiwan, then you don't talk about high pay. Then how you dare to give birth? So 像台湾 facing the problem 嘛，少子化嘛，少子化就卖西嘛。It's either you don't marry or you marry, I don't want to give birth. Or okay, I give birth, 1. Enough. 够了. Because the female have to go out to work, wife have to go out to work, you know. Or husband, beside husband working, but do you think the money income is enough for you to spend? 一家3口嘞，2大1小嘞，能多几岁嘞 ？baby 嘛爱嫁嘞，可以喏。我看那个 YouTube very funny 啊。他老婆说，他先说，老婆要不要生孩子？他说可以，我生很容易，你养。You know what I'm talking? The humor? Yeah, I can give birth, but you take care of the children, you take care of the kid. 因为你要照顾不容易的嘛。I mean, those female they know right. You until you grow up, you have to take care of them, right? Then they go to school, 你还担心的要命。那所以你是母爱最伟大的嘛。I mean, in comparison, your father and mother. That's why you see the Mother Day come first, Father Day second. Mother Day first priority 嘛。Father Day because of 托 Mother Day 的福嘛，本来就 Mother Day 没有 Father Day 嘛，本来是 equality 嘛。Right now, of course, the children aim for Mother Day 嘛。我带你去香格里拉 hotel， 妈咪，哇，很好。Father Day 啊。Hawker Center， 叉龟条 ，right now, it's like that one 嘛 ，because his mother is so close to the children， 因为是你生的嘛。You see, by right, all those children, the kids, they should close to mother, no, instead close to father, no. I do see some exceptional case, no, very strange one. The children are supposed to go to mother 嘛， the student go to father 嘞，我真的very surprising. That's an exceptional case. 看到，一定是找母亲，哪里会找爸爸的 ？Because the mother spend more time on the children rather than father, but now different already, now different. Because now father don't work, mother work. You know. The father become full-time 保姆。看到 ，Yeah, I mean now guys sometimes you know, at least consider the job, but work. with no pay lah. Correct not? Because you didn't go, but you still have to take care of your children, either one. Correct not? So now, not only Singapore, but also not only Taiwan, but now, 少子化, China 少子化, a lot, facing a lot of problems. Like Singapore, age population, aging, 老化. And Singapore going to face this problem. They are facing now. That's why they predict, they foresee. And this problem will come. In fact, now it's coming already. But it's not serious yet. That's why I see our health minister, Ong Yi Kang, right, try to come out a lot of policy, benefit, in terms of how to improve the hospital or whatever. Just now the student told me, nowadays Singapore hospitalized, or you go hospital, very expensive. I saw the YouTube, one of the Taiwanese, his friend come from Taiwan to visit Singapore and fall sick in Singapore, 3 days stay in the hospital. He said, wow, 新加坡的医药费很贵很贵哦。Some people say, 宁可死都不能那个。And now, today, this morning, the Ong Yi Kang, the minister, he said, yeah, if you join the SG, the scheme SG, in terms of medical fee, whatever, in 2024, they are trying to, don't make it so costly. Some people can't afford, 有些人没有钱的嘞，你还要去住医院，对喏。So especially for high inflation, right? So all these are problems. Then you say, okay, it's okay, I can chant 阿弥陀佛就饱了。你是念咯，念刚刚会被饱咯。你不要念到晕倒咯。Then straight go to Pure Land. There's congratulation. 没有病痛 ，no suffering， then 阿弥陀佛带你走了，不坐 MRT 的，慢慢走路 ，bring you to Pure Land. Okay, back to here. Now, so refer to the SUTRA of the ancient India, which was usually a 4-line poem, 4句一句一句. Since gatha are used to summarize longer prose section of a sutra, they were used extensively in oral transmission of the sacred teaching. So these are so-called like the format, how they was recorded in the sutra, in this kind of format using the gatha, to reflect the Buddha teaching, and they summarize it, to shorten it, and easier for people to remember and understand. So in China, the gatha was a seal of understanding every Zen student composed upon breaking through the bond of delusion. So make it short and sweet, man. That's why they say after the long essay, you see the sutra, blah, 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 blah. Then after they use the stanza, the purpose of stanza is to summarize the previous teaching, the previous explanation into verse or stanza, make it short, to make sure we can remember, can recall what I read it just now. This is the purpose of gatha. Okay? Now, thus, a gatha is much more precious than all the jewels in all the worlds. So one can possibly imagine. Because all these gatha is all the Dharma inside the Buddha teaching. So despite their value to human beings, jewels possess the 3 characteristics of all the created dharmas: in origination, limited duration, and dissolution. These are the 3. Okay? While the teaching of this sutra transcend such, because they have a limitation in terms of times, impermanent, but the teaching of this sutra is transcend, go beyond that. Such limitation become unlimited. 有限制到无限制 in Chinese, and it's the source of Buddhahood. Okay? So hence, far greater merits result from offering even the smallest part of this sutra, not to the Buddha, who no longer have any need of such gift. Of course, Buddha do it, because the Buddha is for us, the Dharma is for us to understand, to know how to cultivate the Dharma, but not for the Buddha. Buddha already know already. So usually people have a wrong concept. Just do the chanting, just like chant the sutra for Buddha to listen. He don't need to listen. He know already, because all these are spoken by him. It's for us to listen to ourselves, self-reflection, right? Then how to relate the Dharma in our daily life. That is the purpose of chanting the sutra. It's just I come here for Dharma talk. Of course, you want to gain the Dharma knowledge. Without the knowledge how to practice, you don't know how to practice. It's just like you study mathematics. Right? I still know the A maths. A maths for those people are study very good in maths. I still can remember last time I studied dy/ds, differentiation. Right now, equal to n as n minus 1 or n plus 1. Now, without the equation, how to solve the problem? You must know the equation first. Then you can plug in any figure, then you get the answer. So you learn the Dharma, it's just like to get the equation. How to derive this equation. Then remember, through understanding, then you can solve a lot of problems. It's a simple, same logic. Okay? So, such okay, but to other being, all won't possess, right, the Buddha nature, yet who remain blind to his presence, just a blind, without wisdom, due to blind in terms of ignorance, Wuming, no wisdom at all. Okay, the scholar Asanga, one of the twin brother of the Yogacara school, page 438. Tong Li, page 467. Wan Zhi Xiu, page 469. Ever Consing, page 443. Dao Chuan, at the bottom, page 464. Okay, this one you can read up by yourself, so we skip it. Okay, turn to page 195. Chapter 12. Now, this chapter 12, the gist, the purpose of chapter 12 is to tell us how to respect the true teaching in Buddhism. Now, of course, true teaching in Buddhism means teaching of the concept of emptiness, dependent origination, right? So these are considered true teaching to show the respect. Okay, that's a gist for this chapter. So first of all, let me read in Chinese first. If you have a Chinese sutra, 第12分. I don't know which page, because mine is your one is different from mine. 尊重真教分第12，复次须菩提，随受诗经乃至四句偈等，当知此处一切世间天人阿修罗，皆因供养如佛塔庙，何况有人竟能受持赞颂读诵？须菩提，当知世人成就最上第稀有之法，若是经典所在之处，即为有佛，若尊重弟子。You see, wherever you see the sutra around, it just represents Buddha around. Although we didn't see the Buddha around us, but we see the scripture, the sutra, and the sutra was spoken by the Buddha. So in terms of 见法如见佛, is you know the Dharma, it's just like you see the Buddha already. Because you are not born in 2,600 years old in India. If you born during that time, of course you can see the Buddha. But to see the Buddha or not to see the Buddha, these are considered immaterial. The most important thing is we have to know the Dharma. It's just I want to get the medicine prescribed by the Buddha so that it can cure our illness. And that is the purpose. See the Buddha, not to see the Buddha, 不重要，见法如见佛。If you say, I have to see the Buddha, then I believe in Buddhism, then you consider attachment. Just like people say, oh, there's a great monk coming, I must, no matter how, must go all the way to see him or see her. And this is considered 追偶像. Some people, wow, Master Sun Yan. They say, if you just imagine he's still around, I must travel to Taiwan, and from Taiwan go there, then take a course all the way to Dharma Drum Mountain, Fagusan. But if you got no money to travel, then how? You don't feel so disappointed. You don't have money to travel, but you read the books written by Master Sun Yan. Then you know the teaching, you practice in the daily life, and this is just like you see Master Sun Yan already. You don't have to see him personally, I mean physically. Alright, and this is considered detachment rather than a lot of people chase after him. Then this is actually considered attachment, 执着. Okay? Some people say, I think I one day dream to go to India. Of course you can go, but if you got no money to travel, then it's okay. Stay in Singapore. Then you try to read the books, then you try to imagine, meditate. Oh, Bihar, what is Bihar in India? But let me tell you, Bihar, the dirtiest place in the world. I think, okay, 你要去吗？很脏的。I went there, I know. No toilet. You know, my group travel, halfway people want to go toilet. You know, those female use an umbrella. They go toilet. For guy, it's okay. You go to the bushes or whatever, and the place are very dirty. Talking about in terms of infrastructure. But then why Buddha born there? Because Buddha want to save sentient beings. You know, and in India they have a 4-caste system. I told you already. 4-caste system. Inequality. If you are a slave, 第四的奴隶阶级, then you cannot talk to me. I'm Robin. You cannot sit together. You cannot just talk to me like that. They have a kind of a very strict the kind of rules and regulation. And that's never changed. And people happy to be a slave. Why? They believe, I mean those Hindu or whatever, they believe now I'm slave or ludi, right? I'm very poor. I believe one day when I die, I will be reborn to be a Brahmin or Kshatriya, much more better caste. And they believe that. And they really want to accept it. 他甘愿接受. So to us, we look at them, so you so poor, you know, and they cannot enjoy life. But to them, they're happy because they believe in that. That's why religious brainwash, you know, how people being brainwashed by religion. You see the communist country, they don't believe in religion, just like China, that's a communist country. 无神教嘛 because religion will brainwash you, especially cult, 邪教 CULT cult, they totally brainwash you. And now Taiwan presidential election,柯文哲 KP, he talked about everybody surprised. He said, I want to make sure this party convert to make it like Christian, 耶稣啊，哇 you show that you want to brainwash all your supporters. No, I'm the God. I'm Jesus number 2. Now number 1 no more, so I become number 2. Something like that. So Taiwan politics just like 花样 show. 在演戏的they spend so much money on presidential election, you know. 10多亿 billion of Thai币, you know. In Singapore, the election short and sweet, 2 weeks only. 打满 online on 70幾千呢 72,000 because they have to work out the figure. They don't allow you to spend so much money. And Taman very lucky, you know, because you to appear for donation, no. So you come out for presidential election, no, you will choose long time from the company businessman donate money or whatever. So 72,000 is spent. And the cheapest one who spent Tang Kin Lien the other is what the old man I've forgotten the name right. You know, they spend lesser 20,000 or whatever, something like that. Okay, no? So 2 weeks, don't waste so much resources. La San Gao Di ma, short and sweet ma. But Taiwan 6 months, what la. Okay, chapter 12. Okay, now read the English one. Chapter 12, page 195. Furthermore, Subhuti, wherever about 1 4-line gatha of this Dharma teachings is spoken or explained, that place is like a stupa in the world of Deva, humans and Asura. How much more shall they be remarkably blessed, Subhuti, who memorize, recite, and master this entire teaching and explain it in detail to others. For in that place, Subhuti, dwells a teacher or one who represents the guru of wisdom. Now, so here, stupa, you know stupa, or some we call it pagoda, ta. In Chinese called ta. The purpose of stupa is for those eminent monks, great monks pass away, they are so-called, we call it relic, like ashes, 骨灰 they bury inside the stupa. China calls ta, but in Nepal, the Theravada Buddhism, they just one level only, sometimes it's triangle, something like that. 一层 one level. But in China, there are different level, different story, different level. Can be 7 level, 7层楼, 5层楼. If you go and visit China during your holiday, you see those traditional temple, or you go to Shaolin Temple, and behind the temple, a lot of stupa, 很多塔. Okay, is to memorize those kind of people pass away, having the great contribution to the Buddhism, something like that, great monks or whatever. So we call it ta. So here they talk about stupa, deva. So what is deva in Sanskrit? Please take a look on the PowerPoint. A deva in Buddhism is a type of celestial being. It means heavenly being, 天人, or God. We call it God. Of course, in Buddhism there are so many gods, 很多天神. Of course, increasingly talk about only one, Almighty God, Jesus. And where does Jesus live? According to Buddhism, he lives in the realm of form, 色界, 一切色界, 无界, 世界. And in the first level, first jhana, right, of the, in the realm of form, right, the first jhana, first level. So in fact, Jesus is not in the highest level in the mountain, in the heaven, no. It's actually even lower. And it's called Jesus. Because according to Buddhism, it says in terms of characteristic, they say similar, probably 90%, not 100%. It's quite similar with the Jesus, the God. This is what Buddhism they claim. Okay? So if you believe in God, of course you go to the heaven, but to us it's considered imperfect. Right? When you finish off all your bliss or fortune, 福报, then you have to descend, come back to this world, or go to other realms or other beings. Solely depend on your karma, as I said earlier. So, a God who shares the God-like characteristic of being more powerful, longer lived, and in general much happier than human. Of course, they're happier than us because they got spiritual power. They don't need to take MRT. They don't need to drive the car, and they don't need to take taxi. They can just fly, pay, then fly to this classroom. Then after fly back. Then I don't need to cook. I just 插粿条, I don't need to cook. I just chili crab. Singapore like it, something like that. So this is called spiritual power. Then I want to go to China, Taiwan. I don't need to take a flight, SQ or EVA or whatever, China Airline. I just fly 高雄, fly Taipei, or fly to New York, whatever country. So, although the same level of veneration is not paid to them as to Buddha. Okay? So this is Deva. Okay, back to the textbook. Now, so this chapter 12, as I say, is to talk about respect, to show the respect of the true teaching in Buddhism. Okay, can you see the page 195? Chapter 12. This teaching is the true body of the Buddha. We talk about true body of the Buddha in Buddhism, talk about true body of the Buddha. So true body of the Buddha refers to Dharmakaya, right? Dharma body of the Buddha, Dharmakaya in Sanskrit. Right? Kaya means body. Kaya, body. Dharma body, 法身, Sanskrit法身. That's why I say if you are Hokkien, you know how to speak Hokkien, it's easier for you to pronounce in Sanskrit. Kaya. During my childhood, Boa Kaya, they give it Hokkien. Now still got Kaya, no. Besides jam, butter, got Kaya. Here I can't find it. Kaya me? Can buy in NTUC. Your NTUC is the extra one. Mini one. Extra, of course, you can buy a lot of things. Mine probably the smallest one. That's why no Kaya. Right? I believe I remember last time the roti buat kaya ma, and the butter ma during my childhood, kind of. So I thought no more. Okay, so Dhammakaya, kaya means body, right? And whenever even a single gatha of this teaching is spoken or explained, that place shall be venerated, or to show the respect, as if it contained the relics of the Buddha. For us, when we burn our body, become ashes. And some people don't know what to do. Then you throw into the sea, no? You know how they do it? They were hired during the boat, 小船, they put into the container, and they ask the monk or to do some simple chanting. Then they go to the center of the sea, and from Singapore go to the sea at the center. Then they go around, something like that, they kind of region. Then they pour the ash, or sometimes they throw the whole thing into the sea. I think air pollution, that's how they do that. And those fish go and eat your ashes, They eat those people, dead people ashes, then you go and eat fish. That's how you become fatter, big tummy, something like that. Anyway, this is called sea married, 海葬. But in Beijing, they got 树葬 tree. They buried, through the ashes, buried under the tree. 这个叫树葬. And now Singapore came out. 什么葬啊? In the garden, water, is it 水葬 or whatever lah, Singapore? At the Woodland north side, whatever. Very expensive, Oh, yeah. They throw the ashes into the tree garden. They want high class, That's why it's tree, a lot of fertilizer, Right? Because of your ashes, in the 骨灰 so they grow up. You see a lot of color. And also the color of your ashes also. So as a Buddhist, what you should do? Solely depend on you. If your family are the Buddhist family, they do want to buy me or want to worship to you, you can just throw into the sea. But you don't bury the body, because you bury your body, Singapore due to scarce land. No land. You see some people dig up again. After 30 years or whatever, 你看你还挖你的骨头嘞. So must you just, burn your body, 火葬, They throw into the sea. Well, impermanent. You know the theory impermanent. If your family member want to worship to you, then you can do that. Well, 那火葬在光明山 every day 每天都有死人的嘞。Depend on how many people die, then they just burn. Yeah, auto one. The coffin, put it there. They do a simple chanting, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. They press a button. There's a door open. Then they call it furnace. They heat up first. They heat up first, They heat up first, very hot one. Then your coffin. Then after chanting, they press. Then they go in. Once you go in, the door will open. Open, that's it already. Open it, go in, close the door, the one. Then it's not fire heating, no. Because they heat up and surrounding the furnace is very, very hot. So because of too hot and the coffins are made in wood, 木头嘛, so it just burn. That's why you see the光明山 the smoke, they came out the smoke once it burn, all different color one, sometimes black, sometimes brown. I don't know. It's probably due to the coffin or something. I mean, what sort of material, something like that. And nowadays very fast, after 2 hours, you go and collect the ashes. 你可以去捡骨头了嘞。2 hours can already. But last time you have to wait for next day, 光明山. Nowadays very advanced, 2 hours, 2个小时之后. And some people don't want to go back, because you go back to next day to come over again. Why not? So must you stay there? I mean, depending on the timing lah. Then they can go and pick up the ashes immediately after 2 hours. Well, okay, back to here. 讲到死人 you're very interested. You see, to them, monk they chanting seasoned already, You know what they chant? You know, it's a very simple one, right? I mean, 10 minutes only. If no time, 清凉地 they chant the last verse. They don't chant the whole verse, the praise, because they want to take about 10 minutes. Cannot. They do that. Then after that, okay, 心经 SUTRA, 一遍 one time or 3 times, depend on timing, right? Then 三皈依 3 refuge, then transfer merit 回向 finish. This is very professional one, 10 minutes 搞定 because they have to go to the next one, you know. They one time got 5 slots, 可以一次烧5个人呢。Right? They got 5 furnaces, you know, furnaces. Then 制度庵 got 3 furnaces. You know 制度庵 for Bhikkhuni one before you arrive in Kuomingsan. The one they smaller scale. The one 比较没有这么多人 not many people. Okay? Okay, back to here. But if that Buddhas are deserving of such respect, how much more of so, you know, a living Buddha? Right? You show the respect to the Buddha, but the Buddha will pass away. But how about those still surviving, living one? Then of course you gain the, you know, respect, the highest respect to them. So 专子, you know 专子的话的Confucianism, right? 专子, 老子, and this 专子. Once compare studying the world of sages to collecting dry turds, while Chinese Zen master demand, we call it 或有. This actually in Han Yu Ping, living world, okay, from the disciple. Hence, when we study and explain this teaching to others, we should not restrict ourselves to the written or printed text. It's just like I explained to you this Dharma Sutra, but sometimes I go beyond that to explain the Dharma to you, not strictly, you know, within this scope. Well, it's really a follow everything word by word. Then you don't need to come out. You can just read yourself at home. 你不用来了嘛 Right? I explain something extra for you to understand or to enhance your understanding. And that's the reason why you want to come here. Not just because you know the English, you know the vocab. Then I can read up myself. But no. But you know it's only surface 50%. But another behind the scene, 50%, that you need to come here. Right? Then become 100%. So only if we discover and make known its true meaning will this lineage continue. Okay, can you see the Zhao Ming? This one he was a prince, page 441. Hui Ren, 6th Patriot, Liu Zu Hui Ren, page 449. Okay, next, page 196. Okay, the first verse. Furthermore, Subhuti, whenever but 1 4-line kata of this Dharma teaching is spoken or explained, that place is like a stupa. Right? I saw a stupa is to remember memory that those sages, great monk passed away or whatever. Right? And we pay the respect to the stupa. It's just that we pay the respect to the statue. Although it's not a physical body of the Buddha, but this represents Buddha. But doesn't Buddha is look like that? You look at Theravada Buddhism, the Buddha, Thailand one is short one. You look at the head, short one. And the face different. And this is the face, 很有福相，肥肥的。This Buddha put on weight. 伊食较多了 put on weight. But this Buddha is formless. 没有相的。You cannot say this is the Buddha. That is not the Buddha. This is an Indian Buddha. This is a Chinese Buddha. 哇 ，Buddha 有分的。So this is depend on the culture, the country one. Because in Chinese, 福相 you know Chinese 个福相 好相啊。That's why if you 如果你是胖胖的 they say 哇你很有福相。People like me skinny one 哦，业障重，没有福报 ，skinny 的 20. Then Buddha 你看 ，That's why see a lot of monks 食个真肥哦，哇还是 good 很有福相，哇这个真好命，福报真大 ，right in Hokkien. The people like us 业障很重，业障真重3比8。 That's why you see the statue is look like that. 佛像. If you look at Japan one, Japan, Buddha in Japan, Japanese culture. You know the Buddha, even Amitofo, 有胡须的嘞. It just look like human being, you know. And this is what they believe of. 哎，你看 Buddha 有很多种 different appear different form 咯，有肥肥的，有瘦瘦的，有好手的，in Hokkien. Now which is the real one? The real one is formless. 无相 no form. And no form means emptiness. Clear? And you see the Taoism, 道教啊 even the 观音 Bodhisattva statue also different. Correct or not? 道教的 also they call 观音娘娘嘛 different. You see those medium 跳堂跳观音哦，观音跟我读的观音好像不一样的。The one I don't know because he claim herself is 观音嘛。But having said that, if he or she is a 观音, they will tell you, hey, you go for Buddhist talk for Dharma talk, Dharma Sutra, 这个可能是观音哦。你叫你来听经吗？对了 ，If you ask you say, you go and buy 4D 啦，我保佑你中马票。Because 观音 not 观音 is up to them to say one 嘛。Because you cannot see 观音嘛 ，you didn't see 观音嘛 ，you know what I mean 啊 ？Same thing. Okay, back to here. So in ancient India, the word Saitya, which is the word used here, refer to any sacred place, either natural, such as grove or spring, or man-made, whether natural or unnatural, such as Muslim or shrine. It thus had a much wider application than the word stupa, in which it later became confused and which refer exclusively to a conical structure erected to enshrine the relics of the Buddha. Just I told you, Theravada and the Chinese one in China, the stupa all different shape. Now, it was at a Kapala Saitya, that means alms bowl, essentially, outside the Vaishali, this place in India, that the Buddha told Ananda, he's one of the disciples, that if the Tathagata so desired, he could live out the remainder of the Kappa. Kappa Chinese jie, that means the units to measure longer time in India. They call it Kappa. So when Ananda failed to request that he do so, the Buddha announced that he would die within 3 months. This, you see the bracket, Mahaparimala Sutta. This Nipan Jing, according to the Sutta here. Hence, Saitya were originally, century and only later identified with the stupas constructed within them. So here a stupa is meant for when the Buddha mentioned Saitya again in chapter 15. That in future we will cover chapter 15. He does so in connection with making prostration, as a commemoration, in addition to such act of veneration. Pilgrim also honored stupa with offering of the 7 jewels. As I say, stupa is for those great monks or sages. So when I Ching, I Ching actually in Chinese, I Ching, visited India during the 7th century, he reported that the gata of the chain of causation was especially popular in an offering among the Buddhist pilgrims, who frequented only this holy site. So in his commentary, Ever Conscience, the scholar say, notes, in past ages, this shrine was something to reckon with. Respect for them assured the prosperity of the nation. And they were inviolate, centuries for people in fear of their life. This is a kind of to show the respect, something like that. And some people say, hey, can I anyhow praise the sutra, the textbook, throw on the floor, whatever? Then you don't show like so superstitious. You just as long as you show the respect. Sometimes you no place to put your sutra, then you can put on the floor. It's okay, but you don't bring it to the toilet. This doesn't mean that toilet dirty. Then it's kind of respect. Then you say, oh, statue cannot put in the bedroom. The husband and wife sleep together. He say, can you put a statue in front of us, a bedroom or whatever? Of course, this will show the respect. Not so if you have a dining hall or whatever place to put a statue, and depend whether the statue facing to the door or at the corner, whatever. They don't have such kind of rules and regulation. And some people prefer to facing to the door. Okay, the entrance. I mean, those kan feng shui. But in Buddhism, they don't care. As long as you show the respect, you can put at the side, corner, whatever, it's immaterial. I mean, if you ask me, but some people say, feng shui, see kan feng shui. No good. This door, I better no. Door change to this one. Then next year say, hey, this one no good, must change to here. Then the door opens so many doors. Feng shui is accurate, but according to Buddhism, talk about impermanent. Accurate only for this year, but not for next year. No, you keep on changing 嘛。今年好，明年不好嘛。That's why Buddhism talk about impermanent. So we don't believe in fate, feng shui. Doesn't mean that feng shui is not accurate, but subject to changes. So 你搬家不要去管说whether this door must be facing this side or whatever. 那你说我搬去鬼屋 ghost house cheaper, people don't want to stay, you stay. But to us Buddhism, we don't care about ghost owner. What we want is a price. As long as it's cheap, I stay. 鬼不鬼没关系，坐定困哦。But I tell you if you happen that you meet 鬼 ghost, you consider you're very lucky. 你跟他有缘。Not everybody will see ghost. 有些人看不到鬼，你看到鬼嘞。So consider you're very lucky， 因为他跟你有缘才看得到。